Arena Software, presented by its head of research, Denis Belov.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today I would like to speak about languages and the exchange of information between people and computers. As I see our auditorium gathered here, people from different continents speaking different natural languages. Today, we gathered here due to science and technologies, but we know that art is also very important for humans. Nowadays, linguists say that there are more than 7,000 natural languages in the world, with around 100 of them being actively used. For this reason, a lot of text every day are translated from one language to another, or even several languages. But until now, when I say translation, the most of you probably thought about humans. But what about computers and robots? IT developers are in fact the same interpreters who translate natural language to the computers. They have a bit easier tasks. They have less languages for their work, around 500. So can you imagine the situation of translating 7,000 languages to 500 another languages and complexity of this program? Absolute majority of texts are research papers, business texts, and other stuff. So here, let's imagine the business case. If we have a corporation with 20,000 employees working in 3 countries, the personnel of this corporation will have at least 5 natural languages used in everyday life. The same also applies to conglomerate of research institutes. Such corporation will have lots of technical documentation on business processes, different R&D papers, a lot of data, and all the descriptions nearby. Also, they will have a bag of IT systems, systems for managing stocks, logistics, operational assets, pure IT systems. So you have lots of millions lines of codes, and you need a lot of IT developers to code this. Costs for IT rise each year, and nowadays the demand for IT is growing and growing. Today, spending for IT is around $4 trillion per year, and they are growing 10% each year. So now world demands for more IT developers, and let's say the offer or the number of those developers is not growing this way. We faced this situation in our work for a number of years, and we work solving this problem with different languages, but using the same approach. With this idea, we came to the decision that we now name the universal language. It is built not like a natural language or like any programming language. It's a kind of bridge between different way of thinking, because each language defines the way the people or the robot thinks. In our case, each person who didn't have the technical education can write what does he want in simple language. It could be English, Ukrainian, Spanish, any language. And then our semantic model will translate this to a certain programming language. Now we work with 3 languages, but going forward we can adapt it to another natural languages as well as programming languages. The typical business case for today starts with this. So analysts should describe the business process, then interpreters can translate text into one or several languages, and then developers write code. But there are a lot of problems on each stage. Sometimes the business process is described in a wrong way or not full. Then interpreters could make some problems in translation, and then the developers understand this in their own way and put all their vision into the program. As a result, you receive the bad business process, you spend a lot of money for this, and it doesn't work. In our case, we still have the first stage, so the analyst has to describe the process. But then we have an artificial intelligence that will create the model, do it more accurate, more efficiently, and less costly. If we look on the history, on the beginning of 20th century, when prior to Mr. Ford, who changed the automotive industry, there were a number of workshops who produced good cars. But then Ford introduced the conveyor that allowed to produce millions of cars with a certain standard. In our understanding, universal language will be the same conveyor in IT that will enable people to create more good software.